is me after a 15-hour journey across the pond. I took a nap as soon as I got to my hotel because I fear neither death nor jet lag. I woke up at like 2 p.m. to the fire alarm going off, and my first thought in my sleep-addled brain was, I need to go to my mom's room. I went out into the hallway and realized, A, my mom was in America, not the Manchester Airport Premier Inn, and 2, I had locked myself out of my room. I stumbled down to the lobby in all my pajamaed glory to a very apologetic receptionist because, of course, the alarm had gone off for no reason, as fire alarms always do. I drunkenly received a new room key and lumbered back up to my room, where I proceeded to fall back asleep until 7 p.m. I then wafted down to the hotel restaurant from whence I procured this boiga, ate my fill and watched TV, then fell back asleep around midnight and slept through the night. Needing to power through to avoid messing up your sleep schedule is a myth created by the same weak-willed folks who hold their noses when jumping into the pool. My journey was split into 2 parts, so the next day I had another little baby flight down to Cornwall. Feeling very well rested and very much like Miranda Hart in the episode where she delights in every small detail of having a hotel room to oneself, I made my first cup of tea in England, and then it was back to the airp via taxi, because that's right, I am a chic sophisticate who takes taxis. A good 12 seats on my plane to Cornwall were filled by a group that can only be described as the lads, except that they were well past ladhood in body and headed for 40. They also all somehow managed to order drinks, even though the flight was about 40 minutes long. I'd like to take this time to raise awareness for the fact that I filmed this entire tea-making sequence by holding the phone between my chin and my clavicle. My boss came and picked me up from the airport, and then I got settled into my room. So what I'm doing with my life these days is working seasonal jobs so I can travel the land without going bankrupt and returning home in disgrace. Currently, I'm working as a waitress, and there is a staff housing upstairs from the restaurant. The commute's a little long, but I cope. The next morning, I went into town to get several things, a bank account, a phone plan, and a scone, and though I only succeeded in one of those errands, as you can see, it was the most important one. He's zooming. It's been a murder. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 65 degrees. There is no need to be in the water in your swimsuits. If this were a video game, there'd be a chest in there.
Too, sweetie. Good job. Keep rising.
On this morning, I went down to the beach while the tide was out, but at several places I had to cross a little river, and whenever I stepped in, I'd sink into sand almost to my knees, so turns out quicksand is actually a threat in real life. Who knew? There are all kinds of cool caves in this area, and had a really nice time exploring them and listening to the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker soundtrack. This area is called Piper's Hole, and it contains a beautiful carving of a lady. My next day off, I went to Lizard Point, which is the most southerly point of mainland Britain. A lot of people, including me until recently, think it's Land's End, but that is the most southwesterly point, and you will be seeing that in a later video. I made an absolute bonk of trying to get there by bus. It should have taken 3 hours, and it took me about 6. Mishaps included, but were not limited to, walking an hour to my first bus stop when I could have gone to the one that was only 20 minutes away, and then getting left behind when the bus arrived because I was standing on the wrong side of the street. So this is from when I took a hike down to the neighboring village, and as dramatic and beautiful as the landscape clearly was, I was just not feeling it that day. And I got really frustrated with myself because now that I'm here and I'm living my dream, I feel like I'm not being grateful or living in the moment if not every single moment is an endorphin rush. But that's no way to live, my dudes, and there are just so many external factors to how you might feel on any given day that all you can do is let the moment be what it is. I'm still really glad I went because I later found out that this beach with these dramatic rocks in the background was a filming location for Poldark, and also at this cafe I had the best cup of tea of my life. You know when all the stars align and the strength, temperature, and milk and sugar ratios are all 100% correct and you just... After that, I went to St. Cubert's Holy Well, a sea cave which, according to legend, can heal ailments either because 1. The bones of a saint were being sent to Ireland to be protected from the Vikings, the ship blew off course and landed in Cornwall, and when they carried his bones ashore they touched the cave walls, or B. St. Cubert used to perform baptisms there. It did not heal my morose disposition or hypothyroidism, but I did climb around on the rocks and cry about the weight of being a woman in society, so pretty banshee-esque and mystical after all.
How you doing, darling? How you getting on? Any horses running worth betting on? How's the weather down there? I hope you're keeping warm. How you feeling, sweetheart? Are you moving on? Are you sleeping okay? Or do the nights go on and on? I hope you're eating well. I hope you're staying strong. How are your mom and dad? How's your brother too? My folks are holding up, my sister's pulling through. Both the cats say hi, I know they miss you too.